Welcome back to the Analog Renaissance. This is episode 11, where we continue our exploration of cross-contour drawings using a pepper as our subject. So get yourself your tools, something that has some interesting contours, and follow along. In one of the previous videos where I was doing blind contour drawings of my hands, I had said I wanted to, so these are the blind contour drawings of a hand. I guess I just did the one, or two, I guess, technically. And then I did these modified, one with my non-dominant hand and one with my dominant hand. I decided to pull out my sketchbook from 1998 and 90, actually I think it was 99. These were my first set of blind contours, and I got a B+ and told it was okay to use one side of paper because it looks like I did more on the next. And it says to get internal contours also. So you can see I was just going around the perimeter and then spending more time doing blind contour drawings. So remember, those are, you're not looking at your paper, scale, proportion are going to be out of place. And you can see then move to a modified contour drawing and then some other modified contour drawings over the course of this class. And we were supposed to put label, I like this, how long we spent on them. I don't know how this is excellent, but okay, great. Maybe she was doing both of these. I don't know, because this one is, I wouldn't give myself an A, old me an A. So here are some cross contour drawings, which is what I want to work on today. I did the paper, cross contour drawing of a paper, a piece of paper that I crumpled up the other day. And I wanted to see if I had done these in the past. So it looks like my hand, and you can kind of see the shape with like maybe a contour or ridge. And then the point, like the tips of each of the pads of your finger. Blanket. I don't know why I was using charcoal. It says B. I got a B. Try more cloth. Cloth. And then these are things we'll do coming in the future. But it looks like I did do quite a bit more of this than I thought I did. And we're going out of sequence a little bit from those things. But again, this was 19, I don't have a clue what that is. Looks like a mask. They look like masks. Oh, I think we did make masks. And then we were looking at the shadows. I don't have a clue. Those are kind of creepy though. I hate charcoal. Egg studies for shadows. And then nothing. I think we jumped out of the sketchbook after that. But there's no dates on these, so I don't know when this ended. 4/19. That can't be 19. As in, no, it's got to be 99. All of this was done in 1999 and 90. I think I was struggling with it's a new year because every other date. So it was either 98 or 99. And I don't think I've done anything like this other than a few little exercises here and there while I'm teaching. So I'm kind of happy that I'm making this effort to get back into more regular practice. So let's see where we go. So that contour drawing, the faculty member said to do more fabric. I was going to use a pepper. I think I'm going to use the pepper. And this was just taken out of my fridge, so it's going to condense. So there's liquid on it, but I'm going to pick maybe this side of the pepper. I need some light. I didn't realize I didn't have my lights on. So that I have these ridges to kind of gather. So I'm going to look at it that way. Maybe actually I'm going to prop it up a little bit, so it's sort of on its side, and you probably can't see it. That's how I'm going to look at it. So we have it propped up on its edge. And the cross contour drawing, according to this, again, we're using Ching's Design Drawing, 2nd edition. We use cross contour to explain and represent the volumetric nature of an object, especially when its form is not composed of flat planes or is organic in character. Cross contours flow over the ridges and along the hollows of a surface. Where a surface is indented, the cross contour line indents. Where the surface rises, the cross contour line rises as well. I'm going to give it a shot. Well, no better thing to do than just get started. And the one side of the page, I guess I agree with my former faculty member, but some of these I liked having next to each other because they were related to one another. I remember her saying that and me thinking it was a waste of paper, but when I look at this, I can understand. These are not that easy to do. And I think I might have done it wrong by breaking them up into 3 pieces. I think I should have gone like over the whole thing, gone across the entirety of the pepper. So I think this was like 15 minutes, plus or minus. So I have this book as well, Drawing and Perceiving, Real World Drawing for Students of Architecture and Design by Douglas Cooper. And just moving through, I flipped through this book, and they are talking about engaging with the world. And for their cross contour, oh, I like the way they're explaining this. We've moved along surfaces. Now we'll move across them. Directed at mapping surface, cross contour drawing comes closest to the maps that interested Nicolaides in contour in the first place. And that's who this chapter is. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right because I've actually never heard of him. I probably have, but it's not striking me right now. Interest in contour as a fundamental issue for drawing grew out of his work with the Camouflage Corps in France during World War I. As part of his job, he had to study and work extensively with contour maps. The level contours these maps represented are not, of course, just a convention of map making. Contours are rooted in patterns of mankind's inhabitation of the land throughout history, whether tea terraces in Sri Lanka or rows of grapevines in the hills of Tuscany. And he apparently had a book, The Natural Way to Draw. I'm going to look that up and see if I might be able to find a copy. They're saying here they're using a model, a human model, and he's saying you want the sectional properties of the cross contours to be as clear as possible to make their spatial orientation more readable. Though this exercise is not easy, these spatial reads will prepare you well for perspective drawing, as long as you do not oversimplify contours. Now that I've read this, I like this statement though. We've moved along the surface. Now we'll move across them. So I'm going to actually write that on my notes. So here's pepper number 1. I'm not a fan. See, I should have used 2 pages across from each other so I could compare. But okay. Alrighty. I'm going to rotate the pepper. Number 2. And I said I was going to write down this quote. We've moved along surfaces, period. Now we'll move across them. And this is from Drawing and Perceiving, 4th edition by Douglas Cooper. All right, I'm gonna move my pepper. I'm gonna set it on its side, kind of like this, and I'll be looking at the base of the pepper a little bit, and we're going to see. And it did say, like, to draw that line down that as a guiding, like, midpoint. So I feel like what I did on my pepper, where I did section it off, was a good idea. But if you notice in these are continuous lines across. They do hit this, but it looks like that person, well, maybe they did pick up and set down on this at the spine, but they didn't at the midpoint of the abdomen. So I'm going to see how we go from there. I also like that this book said that this exercise is not easy. I agree. It's not. It's actually frustrating me. But a lot of these have, if I remember my dialogue to myself as I was doing them. I don't think I'm not paying good enough attention. I feel like my brain's distracted, even though I'm not doing anything else. And mine's wandering. Well, this is interesting. I feel like I'm losing. Oh, maybe I'm not. Look at that. Maybe I'm not losing. Thought I was like losing the storyline here, but I think I'm just I was a little too narrow. I have some wicked glare on this pepper, and I think that's causing a little bit of struggle. So there's something there. There was something coming this way, a little bit of a dip. And then these are very deep, but this is very like over, almost like very round. So I feel like these lines would continue through there, below it, and here. And then this is a completely different surface. This here and this. So I'm going to make those lines really much darker, just as a cue to myself that there's definitely a plane change. I would almost be like in this sketch, it's almost like these voids of where the arm from the back, like they're different appendages of the pepper. And then this pepper comes to kind of a point. Across the surface makes sense when you're thinking about something as organic as the pepper, because as I'm thinking of tracing my pencil over these surfaces, like in some ways they stop. I'm just going to do these really lightly. I don't know if you'll be able to see them, but for now I just need to, and this comes up and then down to there, that surface, and then across. Just like that. Oh, this is, see, when you talk it through, it's helping my attention span. Okay, okay, I'm getting it. Notice I do have to keep adjusting where my hand is. So I'm picking up my pencil and putting it back down. But again, I'm thinking about going across the surface. So this was kind of flat and mellow, and now it's starting to rise up and be convex, so coming out towards me. So that's why these are changing sort of in their directional orientation. And then these do recede, like they're going over, it's almost like you're falling over a cliff or a waterfall or something. So whereas on the last contour, I really did each segment separately. Well, I did this one all the way across. And then I did this one as 3 separate things. I'm trying to do this all as one, which is interesting because there are quite a bit of undulations across the surface of the pepper. And I don't know that I'm picking them all up as great as I'd like to. These are starting to fall. This starts to fall a lot quicker. Or sharper. It's like coming across straight and then down. So I think I didn't do this straight enough. So looking, yeah, that looks more like what I'm looking at. Now these are all kind of coming more concave, both sides. Drawing across and down quick. Coming up, over, down, back up, and quick. Up, up, over, quick down into the ditch, gradually coming out of the ditch, going across and down. I think this needs to kind of come more like that. All of these do. All of these come more like this. There we go. So up, and then here, this is kind of bizarre because it's almost like there's this end. That thing's sort of like here, this is, actually, I think it would be more like this. And there's a contour in there I would draw. And then I would draw these coming across. There we go. And then this, I feel like that point would be there. And these are just coming across like that. And I think actually, if I keep using the same like direction of the lines, these come this way. Heading into this. Yeah, like that. Okay, well that seemed better. I think this piece that I did first though, I want to look at again with eyes of understanding. And I drew so heavy. I'm using HB lead and I'm indenting the paper, so that's not cool. But so these are kind of up, up, up. So I don't think I was wrong with how I did it before. I think they just weren't quite the same language of contour that I was doing at the end here. There we go. Okay. So there's another one. And I think that turned out much better than the first one. So I think now that I remembered I had this book, I wonder if this was even on my list of books. Huh. It's not on my list. No wonder I forgot about it. So I will add this to my list, this book to my list, and maybe actually read that whole front part of the book, because it seems like it's pretty useful. And we've done now 3 contour drawings, cross contour drawings. The next thing I want to do is understanding shape and the outline and form which helps you see shape. And I was thinking of drawing. I have this really interesting cactus. I was thinking of using the cactus. Stay tuned for next time.